now creativity can come into your life, right? We've created the safe space and now creativity can flow in. We want to just try it, right? So our sacral chakra is where we're focused on developing our passion. We're beginning to see um, what we like. Let's try this. Let's just see, let's experiment. Let's explore. Let's play. Those are all good words for the sacral chakra. Um, I've put on this particular slide that this is the first curveball. As you notice, the creative journey is like windy. Okay. That is with purpose. It is not meant to be a straight line. If you think it's going to be a straight line, prepare to be disappointed. It is not a straight line, no matter who you are. If you are J.K. Rowling and you're a super successful writer, it was not a straight line for her. Okay. So it's a windy road. And this is one of the first curves. Like if you can't get past this curve, you can't really do much with creativity. It's the sacral chakra. It's the home of creative energy. Like this is where we create from. So of course it makes sense that you really got to figure this one out before you can move on to the next. So what are we figuring out? Well, in this space, in the sacral chakra space, we're focused on exploring without judgment. Like I said in the example, let's just go to the park with my camera. Let me try and film a little short movie. Like let me do a short story. Let me just write a little poetry. Let me just slap some paint on a can. Let's see what happens, right? You're open to exploring without judgment. And in order for you to be able to do that, you have to work through any feelings of shame or rejection that is bubbling up. So in our sacral chakra, because this energy wants to be free flowing and just do what it wants and explore life, when we're told that's not okay, oh, don't put that part of yourself out. Don't make that part of yourself visible. We start to shut down, right? We're getting rejected. We're feeling shameful for what we like. Oh, your art is so dark and evil, like we think something's wrong with us because we want to draw skulls and bats. I don't know. Like it's your unique expression, but when you're told that that unique expression is wrong or ugly or not good enough or goes against the rules, um, these things can really shut us down creatively, right? Because why? We want to survive. And when people tell us some part of ourselves is unacceptable, we want to close down that part of ourselves so that we become acceptable. But this also closes down our uniqueness. This also closes down our expression. You see how all of these things are related. Thank you. So past traumas associated with sacral chakra can be things like public humiliation experiences. You ever had one of those? I know I have, where you go to do something or present something, or maybe you're just even walking by in a bathing suit or something, and someone tells you you're ugly or you're fat, or like you go out to do the play and you flop, you just forget all your lines. Everyone laughs at you in the audience. Like those kind of experiences can be very traumatic for creatives to where we don't even want to show up anymore. Like, I'm not going to take risks. I'm not going to show anybody what I like because they don't like it. They've made that clear. I'm going to keep hidden. Um, this can also be an area where if you've had any kind of sexuality issues, like having to come out of the closet as gay or trans, like if you've had to kind of say like, well, I like this, and someone was like, oh, that's not okay, those kind of experiences can really shut down your sacral chakra. As well as if you have had the experience of trying to conceive, just think about this. The sacral chakra is the seat of creation. When you try to conceive and you can't, or you're finding it difficult, you can really start to tell yourself a lot of things about what's possible for you to bring forth what you can get to, what you get to create in this life and what you don't, right? So if you have dealt with any conception issues, that is a red flag that you have sacral chakra related traumas that you want to work through. Okay. So again, if you're too uncomfortable to write it all out, just put a little star or make a little tiny note that you have work to do in this area. When you're at this phase of your creative journey and you're really open to it, what you're trying to do is you're trying out different things. You're exploring, you're trying to see, what do I like? Like, do I like painting? Do I like drawing? And even on a more narrow level, like let's go back to the film example. Do I want to do documentaries or do I like dramas? Do I feel like I want to create these art nouveau kind of black and white films, you know? What do you like? Yeah, you can't figure that out unless you're open to explore, you're open to mess up, you're open to like figure out you don't like that thing, waste time, waste money, like nothing is wasted in the creative process, just so we're clear. But for example, those are the things that you might tell yourself when you are blocked in this area. But when you're open to it, you're willing to try, like, fuck it, I'll just try it. And if I don't like it, then now I know that and I can move on to something else. So you're trying different things, you're exploring styles, you're exploring options, kind of no holds bar. You're just letting yourself be creative. You're letting yourself be in the moment. So what's really important at this phase in your process is that you don't cling to perfectionism, um, and that you don't judge yourself and that you don't overthink it. Like this is really, really important. I remember when I first started out writing, I did begin this process with like, okay, I'm gonna write. I started writing children's stories. I was gonna just write whatever, you know, whatever story, whatever story. And then part of myself started saying, oh, but you don't just write story, like you need to get published. You need to do exactly what the publishers want. You need to learn all the rules. You need to be successful now. And I started overthinking it. I started reading all these books and like, how do I get published? How do I get, I'm like, I wasn't even writing anymore. I started getting disconnected from what stories I wanted to tell because I was focusing elsewhere. I was focusing on an outcome. I was focusing on being perfect. I was focusing on getting a good grade, on, you know, getting recognition for my work, like rather than just enjoying the process. Do you understand? You start to feel what that sacral chakra really is supposed to feel like. So you want to avoid perfectionism. And again, if you had one of those experiences with shame and rejection, you may have told yourself that I need to be X, Y, Z, and B in order to be accepted. And I'm going to stick with that because when I go outside of that, people make fun of me, they leave me, they reject me, you know, whatever stories you tell yourself. Okay. So if you deal with a lot of perfectionism, you deal with a lot of overthinking, you deal with a lot of like, I'm going to figure this out and then I'm going to try it. So I can guarantee that it'll be a success. That's a sacral chakra issue. You're not willing to make mistakes. You're not willing to just try. You're not willing to entertain failure, even though there's no such thing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. You'll learn it. You'll get it. You'll you'll figure it out pretty soon. There's no such thing. Um, so what you really want to do, you want to avoid all of that and you want to embrace curiosity. It's like, let's just try. Let's just see what happens when I do this. Let's see what happens when I put these two colors together. Let's see what happens when I go out and I take pictures of dilapidated buildings instead of fashion because I was told I have to take fashion pictures to make money and nobody's going to buy pictures of dilapidated buildings. Like that's BS. I love looking at photography of dilapidated buildings, by the way, abandoned buildings. I think they're so beautiful. But I digress. I just mean like, just explore, just be curious to try new things, have a sense of humor about the process if you can. Like if you can start learning how to laugh with yourself as you move through, as you stumble and fall, you'll be much better off, right? And again, that's healing this idea of public humiliation. If you've had people laugh at you, you want to really reclaim that. You want to be able to laugh at yourself and not take it so seriously, right? So reclaiming that power to laugh at yourself. Um, and again, the freedom to just try stuff. So when you're ready to move on from the sacral chakra, when do you know you've really aced that curveball? You're like, I got it figured out, is when you feel good about what you want to do. You don't feel like you're judging yourself. You don't feel like you're expecting too much from yourself. You don't feel like you have to do XYZ. You gotta just try what you want what you want, and that is what it is. And when you do that, can you start to see how now I'm feeling pretty confident?